I got the memo. Hello, folks, out there in the brave wide world. Hold on just one moment for me, guys, while I get set up here. It is very cold here where I'm at. So if you guys aren't tuning in, or you haven't, if you guys are tuning in for the first time, I'm here with Tosai, and JC is with me tonight. Oh, thank you. And today we're covering, oh, that's one. Oh. Got a...
9-volt battery.
Okay. Why do they come like this?
That's how they have them in Harbor Freight.
Well, guys, we're going to be covering powering your cosplay and how to power your electronics. I will tell you, when you start out, this is the number one rule that we have here at Just Press Cosplay is when you make your electronic cosplay or you make your parts that are electronic, test them first, please, because the number one problem I've seen people is they've spent hundreds of dollars on their costume, they've got all their parts working, they follow the tutorial, and the next thing you know, they power it up and it doesn't work. And then the next thing you know, their parts have been fried, and they don't know where to go from there, so they get mad and they give up. So please test your cosplay first before you actually do any full commits to soldering it together, anything like that. Without further ado, let's see here, guys. Sorry for the horrible camera today. I left my camera at home, so we're using someone else's. We're going to be showing you what we have here on the right side that is blue. It's called a voltage variable power supply. So you can turn it on, plug her up, and I'll plug her up for you guys. And you can kind of test. She'll turn on, and she'll read some numbers there. You can test things and make sure that they work. Test about what voltage you need to power stuff up at, and you can use it also to say, well, I need 9 volts, so you turn it up to 9 volts. And then what happens is you can test out if your thing works at 9 volts. You can find out and research on that. They sell them in anywhere from Harbor Freight to eBay. They range anywhere from $30 to $90, depending on which nice ones you get. This one is a cheaper model, but it is not the nicest. So if you're looking at investing in something like that, maybe look at a local makerspace or find somebody you know of that might have one you can borrow or use at their place before you go out and buy in full minutes. The other thing that we have here, guys, is a regular computer power supply. It won't work for really anything. You can plug it in and test some things out, but it won't do you any good of lugging it around because it's not going to hold the charge for you to lug in a backpack like these LiPos will. These are LiPos, guys. What they are portable battery packs. They're used for like RC cars, things like that. You can buy them on Hobby King, or hobbyking.com sells them. He has various ones that you can get. They're not too badly priced, but the better ones you get, the more expensive you're looking at getting. The only downside to these are, guys, is that you're going to need one of these to power them. They are a Turnigy AccuCell 6 battery LiPo charger. They come in different models all over the internet. You can find that they'll look something like this, but no model is exactly the same in color-wise. And the other thing is you have to do math to make sure that you power them correctly. If you're not good at math on how to charge these things, you can always ask us on the YouTube channel, and we will be happy to answer you on how to do the math to charge these. I am not apt in that math yet. I am still learning as we go, so I will admit that, guys. However, if you overpower them, they will not work, and if you underpower them, they will work somewhat. But the downside also to LiPos is if you down them, if you use them all the way till they're dead, you have a bad LiPo and you are out lots of money. Because LiPos require a balancing charge system. So what you would want to get is a LiPo a LiPo battery check. It's a little device. I will see if I can find you guys a photo of it. It tells you about how much battery your LiPo has left. When you get down to about 3.27 is when it's time for you to change your LiPo out of your costume. Get on another one, and then be prepared that evening to charge your LiPo back to its full charge and be ready for another day. Let's see, guys. I'm trying to find you one of these little nifty devices. Oh, there's one. It looks like this. Let's see, guys. And the great thing about this little device is that you can program it to a certain setting so that when your battery gets down to the lowest amount of charge that you would like for it to go off at, it will beep at you, and it beeps really loud. So you can say, pardon the noise, guys, here. This is what it looks like. If you can see here, besides the AccuCell, this one is a little number here. It reads numbers there, and it flashes at several different settings. And what will happen is when it gets down to its lowest point that you have it set to, it will beep at you. You will be able to take it off. I suggest don't leave them on 24/7 when you're using this for your LiPo. I would highly suggest taking it off and maybe checking every 10 minutes or so. So that means stopping for a minute. Maybe while you sit down at a panel. Maybe during that Disney sing-along panel with it. There's an awesome YouTuber that does. He comes to conventions and you get to sing along to Disney music. Or maybe if you're sitting down for a break to grab a snack, that's a great time to check your LiPos out, guys. We also have what we call another little mini battery here, guys, and I'm going to pull that up for you. Let's see here. It looks like this. Sorry, guys. I believe this is also a small LiPo. Am I correct?
Yes, it's a small LiPo. It's a 150 milliamp hours. They're all 3.7 volts, or this one is 3.7 one cell. And you can see it has a JST connector on it. The other ones, you can tell it has more than just one wire attached to it. This one only has a red and a black one.
What is a JST connector?
It's the one that you currently see right there. It's this one that you see.
Okay.
And in case you need to turn technical.
What is this connector called then?
Don't know the exact one, but by just looking at it, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 wires. 3 black ones, 1 red one.
Well, what about this connector?
That one, you know what? You got it right there. I'll need to look it up. I forgot the name of it. But I think if you look at it, it's a XT60 right there.
Okay, XT60?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's where, it is. What the voltage checker that you showed, the one, you actually connected on this one that you were talking about.
Yeah, the one here on the picture.
Right, the one that you have on the picture on the far left, and that's how you can check it and whatnot. That's the one.
This one.
So you could just put it in, check the voltage, make sure it doesn't go less than 3.7 or whatever. Like this one, it says 11.1. You don't want it to go way lower. You don't want to run it dead. So always check on it. And that goes for every single one of these lithium polymer batteries, or short for LiPo, on them. So you always want to check it, make sure you don't run them dead. Always charge them up as full if you're going to be using them. And like you said, it's going to be running. Always check on it, make sure you don't run them dead. Unless you absolutely just have to, but then you're going to kill them. So, they're not cheap.
No, LiPos are not cheap. Actually, I looked at some for my costume. They're like $60-70 a piece.
Right. So if you want to run them dead, by all means, if you have the money to spend them, recommendation. Now there are ways how to revive them. You can short circuit them and all, but you don't want to run them because LiPos, if you stab them, overcharge them, or any of that,
How does one charge a LiPo with the AccuCell 6 here, or the LiPo charger?
Well, they're all different. The charger that you can see on the screen right now, like the Turnigy AccuCell, you have to know how to charge it. So when you plug it up, it'll tell you how many cells, what's the voltage and whatnot. So if I look at this one, which it says 3.7 volts, I don't know if you can see it on there. It says 3.7. But that's, the lowest is 3.7. The highest is supposed to be 4.2. You might want to just memorize that, or you'll see it a couple of times. I know that if I sum up 3.7 plus 3.7, that gets you 7.4, which that's 2 of them. Versus, and if I add another 3.7, then that would be 11.1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 of them. And
wait, so if I'm doing lipo math, then if I'm doing battery math, I don't round it up to 4.4.
4.2. That's the highest.
Yeah, but 3.7 plus 3.7, 7.7 is 14. So it wouldn't be.
No, you're not. So basically, what you're saying is.
Oh wait, never mind. Okay, you did do the math right.
Yes.
I'm
it's
having
easy
a
to
moment.
get confused.
Yes.
Usually you would say 4.2 as the highest, and if you have 4 of them, 4.2 times 4 would be what? 16.8.
Yes.
But if you say, so what is 3.7 times 4, which is 15.
3.7 times 4.
Yes. So 3.7 plus 3.7 is 7.4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 7.4 plus 7.4 equals 14.8.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
So 14.8, and you compare it to the 16.8 that I was talking about. That's from the lowest to the highest. So you gotta be careful, not to either go as low or go higher than it. And it's like you said, what did you call it? Lipo math, battery math?
Yeah, I said lipo math. That's what I'm calling it.
Yes, which is fine, but you just want to make sure you don't overcharge it, undercharge it, etc. But we'll get more into it in later on. But that's just like a little bit of information.
So guys, you can ask your questions here. I'll be here till about 8 o'clock, guys. Sorry for the late stream. That is a lipo. That's one of the lipos he's holding. No, not all lipos look the same. They do look like the red or the blue. They come in various colors, shape, sizes. Well, really, they all look long, but they come in various sizes. And power-wise, they come in less or more. But I would suggest, guys, Hobby King is probably your best bet to buy lipos on, in my opinion, because it is a great place. You can also buy the lipo charger, which, as you see here, you can buy a lipo charger. I will say that there are YouTube videos out there that will tell you how to charge your lipos, probably, but we will be covering that in a more in-depth basis for you guys coming up, and show you how to charge one and answer all your questions on that, because I understand that you want to make something amazing, and I fully believe that you can make the most amazing costume that you want to make, whether it's armor that glows, or you want to make that next belt that lights up. You feel free to ask your questions. I'll be answering them all evening. I'll be here till 8 o'clock, guys, so ask away. If you don't know anything or you're not sure, I'm answering anything, guys, from LEDs to charging to can LEDs work in silicone? Well, that's one of the questions I had to ask, was it's not silicone, but can LEDs work in resin? Yes, it can. They will light up, but I suggest that you guys buy the non-conductive resin. 3M sells it in a tube, and it's small. But you want to make sure that when you buy non-conductive resin that you don't buy the black because it comes in clear or black. And I've seen people mistakenly buy the black, not reading. You can buy the two-part mix on eBay. It is a whopping of like $48. But you can buy the resin in small tubes. It's not a lot. So if you're looking at making something like a katana that glows, or maybe a piece that glows with LEDs in it, be sure to research that you buy I suggest non-conductive resin, because that way when you power your stuff up and you light it up, it's less likely to cause a static charge and blow your costume into a non-working costume. Your costume won't blow up, it's just that you'll smell burning smell and you've let the magic smoke out, and all that hard work you put into your costume is now gone. And that would be very sad to hear that I made a costume, it worked for maybe an hour, then I brushed up against somebody, and the next thing you know, their static electricity caused me to go poof. So we would not like that, guys. Instead, what we would like is for you to have a working costume. What is this? Can I ask?
Oh yes, I was gonna say, if you need to power some electronics, like this connector, because he has a barrel and it has a connector for a 9-volt battery. Multiple ways how to power up your project. So LiPo battery is not your only way. You have a computer power supply on there, and computer power supplies would be probably the least common thing that people would think to use. If you have a computer that is not being used, or it's just outdated, power supplies are a good way on how to actually get a source of power to test or start your devices. Batteries are not the only thing. They do pack, amp rating. You can play around with 3 volts, 5 volts, 12 volts, ground, and by just a little bit of tinkering, you can get it to turn on without being hooked up to the computer. And they're cheap, reliable. You can get it pretty much anywhere. And like I said, you don't have to buy or get an adapter if you have a power supply. So that's a good way how to actually get your stuff started.
So Sierra asked, she wants to make this, and she wants them floating. I suggested fish wire and some kind of thin plastic, but she wants to make these, which are which basically they float in the air essentially, and she wants them to light up.
Okay, so she wants to. To me, that kind of looks like you can use L wire. Or yes, EL wire. And it's the same thing that people use for wearable electronics as Tron. Okay. And you can use, what kind of wire did you mention?
I said if you want it to float off of you, I said use some kind of clear plastic wire. That way when you take pictures,
it won't show up on there.
Yeah, but the number one thing is you're encountering it's a lot of that stuff isn't flexible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's flexible, so when she stands there, it's gonna be like falling down or something, and it will be less. She won't get the effect that she's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, clear plastic and like clear string. But I'm not. I know that she could use glow wire for that part, but the beads would be. I guess she could use just clear beads and they would glow up with glow wire.
Sure. That would definitely work.
You'd have to use Socia, they're clear beads with the same size hole, same size diameter hole, because one's larger than the other. So your better bet would be to find like clear resin and make the beads that way, or find beads with the same size hole that are different sizes that are clear, and modify them to fit the EL wire. No, that's not what I would do access for. And then for the ones on your hair, you would have to do the same thing. You would have to use clear wire for that. But see, the ones on her hair though are are glowing beads.
What about just attaching LED lights? Just regular small LED lights.
Mm-hmm.
If possible, encasing them in small bubbles to look like bubbles, and you can put coin cell batteries in them. They won't last for many days or whatnot, but it will last. I don't know, depending on the LEDs, but I would say an hour, 2 hours.
So is there a way that you could take those out so that she could charge them? Because this is what we're looking at, guys, if you are not understanding what we're chatting about here. They're like little orbs in hair. For those of you who are watching, they're like little orbs, and then there's the full costume that she's looking at making. I am not sure what this anime this is from, so I'm sorry, guys, on that lack of anime knowledge there. I was gonna originally say Sailor Moon, but you might laugh at me on that one. No, but it's not Sailor Moon. And there is the bracelet that we were talking about earlier there with the 2 beads. But if she wants to make this a permanent costume and be able to change them out, is there a way to change out the coin cell batteries?
Sure. It's just the way how it's done. But yeah, I mean, you can even get little balls, plastic balls, paint the surrounding on it, get really bright LED lights, put any battery size, probably coin cells, and you got yourself something that lights up. That's just on the top of my head. You know, I'm pretty sure it can be made different ways, many different ways.
Because I was thinking you could use fish wire and feed it through, and then stiffen the fish wire through like.
Oh, that's not on the hair. It's just
it's floating. It's floating off the hair. See, that's where you become a little bit more. That's why I said that she would probably need to.
Just use regular wire, very thin regular wire. Because if you have, so online there's a tutorial on how to make your eyes glow, and it just has one LED light per eye pointing outwards. The person who wears it can see just fine because it is not being reflected at your eyes, it's reflected outside your eyes, and it's wrapped around your head, covered by the hair, and the battery is set up in the back. That's it. Same basic concept, you just have it dangling around your hair.
Okay.
And you don't see it. And as long as the LED is really bright, you won't be able to see it.
Okay, so as long as she's got the LED set up bright. So
Yes.
she would have to use, so then she would want to get like, I would suggest getting like blue clear beads. That way when you turn your LEDs up to white, you can turn them not to the full brightest, but the next brightest. Because if you turn to full bright, they maybe will last like.
Without even getting hot.
Yeah.
Yes, and that would be fun.
Yes. But I would suggest buying the blue beads. Hobby Lobby sells them. If you're not in America, guys, you can go to eBay or some other craft store online. But if you're in America, Hobby Lobby or Michael sells them, or Joanne Fabric sells beads. You can also buy polymer clay, guys, and it comes in various. It comes in clear. I don't think that the clear is exactly that clear, but it should be clear enough that you could have the LED shine through it, so you could basically get clear clay. If you happen to know a glass maker, you might be able to get lucky that way, guys. But not everybody's as fortunate to know a glass maker in this world. But you might be able to find somebody locally that you can do your research on that will be able to make something like that if that's your route you're going. Peppermint Soup is making a huge project. She is making Genji in the future. If you guys don't know who Genji in the future is, he looks like this. I don't know where this is from. I would like to say a video game, but maybe not. I am more of a I want to say that looks like that game that Steve Bloom did with the Shinobi.
Sure.
Yeah, but I don't think it's Shinobi. In your case, you could get away with black resin for the sword there, honey. On the sword, you could get away with that because what she would do is use black non-conductive resin. And you could add the clear towards the end to fade off the green EL wire there, and power it up through the handle of the katana there, because it looks like the handle of the katana is pretty big anyways. So you would get away with putting your battery pack in the handle of your katana. For the armor, you can buy what they call their flora circles. We showed one last week, guys. If you missed it, basically it's a little circle. It's got LEDs on it, pre-done on there, and it's in a circular module. They come in various sizes. You can plug those into your armor and then seal it with clear non-conductive resin, so that way when you're ready to go. And it looks like the circles are offset a little bit from what I can see, so that they will cover up the floras, so you won't have to show them off, so nobody will see the LEDs. So it's kind of like, I guess, a mushroom dome there. And so you would have them the green. Luckily, LEDs, you can recreate all the same green, so it won't really matter, but just make sure you buy the same brand of LEDs. And you can get EL wire, which is green. And you can try to match you can match the green as closely as to the EL wire, because it looks like here it's all the same green. And for the LEDs in your mask there, you would want to use the EL wire as well. However, I would suggest that when you make your helmet, make it just a tad bit bigger on you, so that way that you can kind of see below the yellow wire, because the glow from experience of wearing LEDs as a mask, because I had a full frontal face, guys, at Comic-Con, a local convention here. I had a full front face of LEDs, and the number one thing was, yes, it started to reflect, because after a while, the colors started reflecting on me, yellow especially. And I'm sure green will do the same. It will reflect back on you, which the rainbow matrix I had that kind of did a rainbowy pattern kind of hit me pretty hard too. Hard to see, so I would suggest making a mask that's just a tad bit bigger than your face. So that way when you've made your matrix, when you made your EO wire, you can see below the bottom of it and it won't hit you as hard.
Any other questions?
I think that was it. I think we answered all of them. Next week, guys, we will be live streaming again, guys. So if you want to make the topic next week, I am open to any topics you have. Who'll answer anything that you have questions on. So next week's question week, in a sense, I will be happy to answer anything anybody has. One of the biggest things I fully believe, guys, is that when getting into wearable electronics for your costume, don't just go out and buy everything under the sun, because there are a lot of people out there that when you go out and buy stuff to make your costume with, they're going to sell you one-trick gimmicky items. So they're items that are useful for only one thing, and I am a full believer, like Out and Brown, that unitaskers are not the way to go. Okay, don't buy anything that you see that is made for this specific item, because it's a unitasker. Whereas like the LiPo battery charger there, I believe can also be used to power your phone. Am I correct?
Doing it right, you could, yeah.
Yes. So it can be used for other things. A lot of the things that you buy can be reused and recycled into other things. But please, guys, don't buy unitaskers. If you're not sure what to buy when you're starting out and you want to make your costume, ask away. I'll even send you links. I'm out to answer your questions. I'm here Batosai on Anime Amiibo. Amino. You can find Red Mountain Makers on Facebook, guys, or Instagram. Ask questions there. They'll be relayed to Hero Batosai here out of the big magic city in Birmingham, and I will answer back as soon as possible. If I don't know the answer, guys, which I'm not the genius and I'm not the magic genie who knows everything, I will find your answer for you. I will seek to the ends of the earth for your answer, because I feel that you can make your own stuff. You can do anything you want to do. You can enjoy what you've made, because my biggest thing is once you've made it, you get that joy and pride of wearing it of I made this, I did this. You get your pictures taken. It's that joy of I made this costume. I didn't buy it pre-made. It's I made this, guys. Look what I made. I did something. You can make it too. With that, it is 8:02, guys, and I am signing off for the evening. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, guys, because with 100 viewers, we get to change our YouTube channel. Instead of some random numbers and letters and capital letters, it becomes Red Mountain Makers, and without your support, we would not be able to change our title there on the YouTube channel. So please hit the subscribe button. I know last week I promised Tuesday videos, but that's going to be happening this Tuesday because there were some technical difficulties. So this Tuesday is called Technique Tuesdays, so you can learn step-by-step slow things to help you get introed into electronics, from tinning wires to soldering properly, to charging things, to answering, to things like that. So just keep a lookout on Tuesdays, and have a good night or good morning wherever you're watching from, and thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you next Thursday.